Hello, and welcome to Little Monster Gaming's Deck Tech. Our first set of business will be with Red-Green Tron, as you will see here. I will go through and explain each individual card and what are some of the purposes of that card. So here we go. Here's Pyroclasm. It's a 1 colorless, 1 red sorcery, and you deal 2 damage to each creature. It's a pretty simple thing what you do with that. It's any aggro matchup. It does help in some cases against Jund with Death Rites, Skoos, and Termaggoyf, assuming Goyf and Skoos aren't pumped up. And Bob as well, because Bob. Then we have Relic of Progenitus. Relic of Progenitus is a 1 colorless artifact, and you can tap it to remove a card in someone's graveyard from the game. You can pay 1 and do the same thing, except remove all cards from the graveyard, including it, and draw a card. Our next card is Wurmcoil. And it is an artifact creature worm for 6 generic mana, or 6 colorless. You'll hear me refer to it as both. And it has Death Touch and Lifelink, and it is a 6/6. It was put to the graveyard. You put a 3/3 colorless worm with Lifelink and 1 with Death Touch. It's very great against board sweepers and anything of that nature. It helps stabilize and catch back up in a race. Then we have Sylvan Skrine, which in Tron is a great card because it helps us get our Tron pieces if we're missing something, or possibly grab an Eye of Ugin to search. And it also helps thin out our deck. That also with Relic, it helps us against combo decks like Storm, which is a horrible matchup for us. And I can't tell you how many times I've lost Storm without Relic. It's crazy. Then we have Karn Liberated. And that Karn Liberated is a Planeswalker that has a +4 for target player exiles a card from his or her hand, a -3 that exiles a target permanent, or a -14 that restarts the game, bringing in all non-auras that he exiled into the battlefield in control if it's a permanent. Now he's really great. He's what we want to play on turn 3. Obviously because he acts as like a path, or he can act as like hand destruction, and also he ultimately wins you the game most of the time when he drops. One thing I like to do with Karn is play him, and then next turn drop an Eye of Ugin, search up like Wurmcoil or Emrakul or something, and exile that from my hand, if I know I can safely do it. Next we have Ancient Stirrings. It's 1 green, a sorcery, and you look at the top 5 cards of your library, you put a colorless card from among them and put it into your hand. The rest of the bottom in any order. It helps us dig and get things we need, like Tron lands or something to dig even further, or Expedition Map, Relic. It gets a lot of stuff for us. It even gets board sweepers like Oblivion Stone, which we'll talk about here in a minute. We have Chromatic Sphere, which is right here. It's 1 colorless. Tap 1, sack it, add a mana of any color to your mana pool, and draw a card. Very good utility card. Lets us get through our deck and mana fixes. Next we have Expedition Map. Expedition Map is a 1 mana artifact. You can pay 2, sacrifice it, search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So, say turn 2, you have it out, and you have 2 Tron pieces. At the end of your opponent's turn, you can sack it, go get your last Tron piece, and be having Tron all day. That's Oblivion Stone, what I talked about earlier. It's 3 generic. Put a fate counter on target permanent for 4 mana and tap it, or you can pay 5 and tap it to sacrifice Oblivion Stone and destroy each non-land permanent without a fate counter on it. Then remove all fate counters from all permanents. That's one of the things I messed up when I first started playing, was Oblivion Stone, because I was like, oh, it has to have a fate counter on it, crap, but then actually it's without, so it's way better than what I thought it was originally, which is great. And you can effectively do that on turn 4 like any board sweeper in a control deck, like Supreme Verdict or Wrath, except it hits all down-lane permanents, which is pretty nice. Then we have Emrakul, our big fatty, who is 15 generic and can't be countered. When you cast him, you take an extra turn. He has flying, protection from colored spells, and Annihilator 6. Annihilator 6 means whenever he attacks, the opponent sacrifices 6 permanents. Whenever he's put into the graveyard from anywhere, you get to shuffle Emrakul into his or her library, or into your library with all your graveyard. And then you have Chromatic Sphere, which is a 1 colorless, pay 1, sack it, add a mana, and when it enters the grave, or when it is put into the graveyard, draw a card. Strictly worse than Chromatic Sphere, and the fact that if someone has like Rest in Peace or something, it does not draw a card. So that really sucks. Other than that, this is Red Green Tron by Little Monster Gaming. I'm going to move to the land in another video, and hopefully you guys will like it. Now remember, we're just starting off here, don't have great equipment. I'm actually using my cell phone. The more support you give us, the more money we'll be able to do and do more deck techs and everything, so that's great. Thank you guys. Have a nice day. Little Monster Gaming, signing out.